the presentation.
Thank you very much, Lily. So my name is Martine van der Does. I'm the Helen Hamlin Humanitarian Fellow and Global Program Director for the Institute of International Humanitarian Affairs at Fordham University. I just came back actually from the IDHA in Amman in Jordan, so I have a lot of new, fresh information for you. I'm very pleased to see you all joining this session. I'm dialing in from Europe. So as you can see, it's a little bit dark here already, but I can see that we're dialing in from all over the world. It's very nice to see everyone. So the International Diploma in Humanitarian Assistance in South Africa will be taking place in May. Yeah, it will be the first one for 2025, and it's organized by the Institute of International Humanitarian Affairs, which was created by Fordham University to forge partnership with relief organizations, publish scholarship works, hold training courses such as the International Diploma in Humanitarian Assistance, and host symposia. Can everyone please go on mute? Thank you. And host symposiums related to humanitarian affairs. The Institute enables humanitarian workers to develop relationship with the university and international communities here or in New York City. In addition for being a center open to the entire Fordham University community, the Institute offers an academic base for the study and development of international health, human rights, and other humanitarian issues, especially those that occur in periods of conflict. The International Diploma in Humanitarian Assistance in Pretoria will be organized for the 60th time. The first time the IDHA was organized was in 1997. And it was initially created when there was not much education around to create education opportunities for local and international aid workers to have a more solid base and wide overview of the humanitarian sector. So the course is open for a large variety of students and backgrounds. And if you have 20 years of experience in the sector or you're just new, I can guarantee you that every IDHA offers something new for everyone. I've done quite a number of IDHAs myself as a tutor, as a student, and as a course director, and every time I learn a lot of new things, even though some presentations I've seen a couple of times. So I can assure you it has something to offer for everyone. We focus on mid-career humanitarians, but that doesn't mean that that we're also open for people who come from a different sector or bring other experiences to the course. As I mentioned, I did the IDHA myself back in 2008, and afterwards I became a tutor, a course director, and now I'm the global program director for the program. I've done a master's degree in international humanitarian action after I did the IDHA. So I used the IDHA to proceed with the master's degree at Fordham University. So it also opens opportunities for an academic career, taking part in the International Diploma in Humanitarian Assistance.
Okay, great. Thank you, Martine. Hi, everyone. I'll actually start from the right. Since I'm speaking, my name is Lily Egan. I'm the Communications Officer for the Institute of International Humanitarian Affairs, which is located in New York City. Then to my left is our Executive Director, Brendan Cahill. He loves meeting IDHA students and our alumni. Hopefully you'll be able to connect with him virtually during your IDHA program. To Brendan's left, Martine just introduced herself. She's our IDHA Global Program Director. And as she said, she completed the IDHA herself in 2008 and is now directing the program. We typically have about 2 iterations per year. Our next one, for those who are just joining, is in May 2025. Below Martine there is the IDHA 60 course director, Mark Little. Again, you can notice a trend. He completed the IDHA himself as well. So you'll be meeting him in Pretoria upon your arrival and be doing the program closely with him throughout the course, as well as our amazing tutors. We have Angie, Jackson and Gonzalo Sanchez Terrain. They have both been a part of the IDHA for a long time. And Angie works in the medical field, and Gonzalo is a lawyer in Spain. And they both just come from a wealth of knowledge, as Martine and Mark do in humanitarian assistance. And to the right, we have Luciane de Leon. She is our program coordinator. You may have already been in communication with her about your application. And if you do have any questions, you can see her email below her name. You can email her about any application questions that you have. And we'll talk about that application deadline soon. Martine, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lily. And maybe to add, what I think is very exceptional to the IDHA program is that tutors and people who come lecture on the course, they come from the humanitarian field, so they're not particularly academics or people that only work in the humanitarian field. They have this combination, so they can really translate the theory into practical examples, and I think that's what really makes the IDHA special and exceptional compared to other programs. As Lily said, the next IDHA will take place in Pretoria, South Africa, from the 4th of May until the 30th of May 2025, and our application deadline is 20 April 2025. And I would really recommend you to apply as early as possible, because there's a lot of administrative things to complete before we start the course, and we sometimes run into practical logistical issues if people did not sign up in time in terms of access to university websites and university information. And also the number of places on the IDHA are limited. So the earlier you apply, the more sure you are of a place on the IDHA. So what can you expect on the program? We have a couple of learning objectives, and one of the things that we really try to focus on the IDHA is laying the ground for the absolute basics you need to know in humanitarian action, such as the humanitarian principles, but also international humanitarian law, the humanitarian reform. Then the second thing we go into is the thematics. So we look at the different clusters there are in the UN, so as water and sanitation and health. We look at logistics, on shelter. So all these thematics, they will be used as well, or they will be presented as well. You learn about them. And then we have more cross-cutting issues and how these theories are seen into practice. So we have a lot of case studies. We have cross-cutting themes like mental health, prevention of sexual exploitation and abuse. And then finally, but maybe one of the things that also makes the program very special is we focus on you as an aid worker yourself. So how do you stay healthy in an environment that demands a lot from you and is sometimes dangerous? And you have to think about first aid, personal health, but also security and safety. So these are generally the 4 themes we focus on during the IDHA. And this is translated in a 4-week program where we not only give lectures, but there are also group assignments. You have to write an article and you have to do exams as well. So it's a lot of hard work, but it's also a lot of fun and a lot of learning, and you get to know people from all over the world. Luciani, over to you.
Thank you, Martine. So now onto the requirements for your actual application if you're interested in going ahead and enrolling. So we only ask for a resume or cover letter and then a letter of intent. We do expect applicants to be fully comfortable in their English abilities. We are not testing them, so there will be no official exam. However, keep in mind that this is a graduate level course. So if you're not fully comfortable with the English language, this may affect your ability to pass the exam. So moving on to the next slide, please. Okay, so these are the steps and the requirements. First, you need to complete your application, which includes what I just mentioned, your resume or cover letter, and then a letter of intent. Then once you're admitted, the process to enroll is you're going to have to pay a $500 deposit fee, and this is to secure your seat, especially considering how popular the IDHA is. Then you also have to respond to the reply form. This is just stating that you will be enrolling and we should expect you in the IDHA. After that, we will then register you into the appropriate course. Please keep this in mind. There are multiple sections, which I will explain further ahead. Then you will have access to your student account, e-bill, email, and Blackboard. Please keep this contact in mind, helpit@fordham.edu. If you're ever having issues with any of the things that I just mentioned, they're a perfect contact to get connected with just in case something goes wrong. Next slide, please. Okay, so on to tuition. There are three rates. There's two international rates and one regional. I'm going to explain regional first. So the regional rate is $3,000, and this is for regional students. So whoever is highlighted in the South African regional areas, the countries are listed there, and this only covers coursework. So there's no accommodations tied to this. We do provide weekday lunches along with two coffees, but this does not cover any other meals. This does not cover hotel. This is only really for the coursework. And please keep in mind, this also does not cover academic credit. And transportations is not included for any of the rates either. Now, if you're not located in any of these regions, you will have to pay for the international rate. There's one that's $6,121 and one that's $6,500, which includes the academic credit. If you are planning to enroll in a different program like a master's degree, this covers coursework, hotel, and other accommodations such as weekday meals. Again, for both of these, this does not include transportation. So please keep in mind that if you are planning on enrolling for academic credit, you must order an official transcript from all of the other higher education institutions you've attended, and we must have this before the course actually begins. And for all rates, we expect you to pay the tuition before the course begins in order to actually attend.
Yeah, so thank you, Luciani. Maybe to repeat that the IDHA will take place from the 4th until the 30th of May in Pretoria, the next one. And the application deadline is 20th of April. And I think with that, we end the presentation, right, Lily? And are open for any questions you have.
Yes, thank you so much, both. Martine, again, she's our Global Program Director, and IDHA Director. Luciani is our Program Coordinator. I'm Lily, your Communications Officer. Please feel free to enter questions in the chat, and Miriam, our student worker, will read them out loud, or you can raise your hand and ask the question yourself. I can always go back to slides. I know we kind of flew through that. So if you want to see any of the information, I can always go back. Miriam, I think we have a question in the chat already.
Yeah, somebody asked, do you offer any scholarships?
So our scholarships are very limited, and we do prioritize the regional students, so anybody that's included in the countries that were listed in the South African region. However, if you are interested in a scholarship but you do not fall under that criteria, you can still ask, but just keep in mind that we do expect you to have a completed submitted application before requesting financial assistance, and then we will review your application and decide whether or not we want to offer assistance. However, keep in mind there are no full international scholarships, so even if you are selected, you will not be fully covered for the IDHA if you are an international applicant. And please keep in mind there's a high prioritization on regional students.
Okay, somebody asked, what is the maximum scholarship one can receive?
So for regional students, typically the max is the full rate, but keep in mind that you will have to, will be fully responsible for accommodation, so where you're staying and your meals. For international, the max is typically 3,000. Again, we don't fully cover the international rates, so you will have to be responsible for the other portion of the tuition and but again, accommodations are included in that rate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Somebody asked, do you accept Title 5 or 6 AmeriCorps grants funds?
So if this is in regards to the Siegel Award, there should be no problem using your AmeriCorps funds in order to pay for your tuition. It would be a different process, but I've had a student done that in the past.
If we are unable to make this cohort in May, do you have the dates and location of the following one?
yeah, maybe I can take this one. We will have a meeting in the beginning of January to confirm locations and dates for the next IDHA that will take place. One of the locations we would consider again is Amman in Jordan, but it also depends on the situation in the Middle East, of course. But we will be able to communicate more data in January. What Lily already mentioned, typically we have at least two IDHAs per year, so we also aim to have at least one other one next year. So keep an eye on our website to see our next dates. There's the website in the chat. Yeah, and there's a lot of information on the website. I think we will have more information sessions, right, Lily?
Yes, we certainly will. Marion and I, and we're going to plan one for January. We aim to have an information session each month, but again, I can't say it enough. If you're planning on joining us for IDHA 60 in Pretoria, get your applications in sooner rather than later to allow for travel time because by the time we have our last information session, it'll be a crunch. Um, and hopefully we'll be able to announce our fall IDHA in one of our later information sessions. But I actually had a couple questions because I want to make sure everyone's clear. Luciani, because we get a lot of questions about the scholarships, how can they um, how can they reiterate that they would like to apply for a scholarship? Is that in their application or should they email you?
So yes, the best way to let that be known is to email us, but please ensure that you've started your application and it's fully complete and submitted before requesting, because if you're requesting for a scholarship, there's nothing for us to review to know whether or not we should select you.
Yeah, so first complete your application online and then apply for a scholarship. And then we will be able to review, not the other way around.
Yes, and I have also included the direct link for applications. Please keep in mind that this link takes you to all of our current courses and programs. So if you have not started an application, just make sure you press IDHA 60.
Great. And next, I just want to make sure that it's clear for the AmeriCorps Siegel grant, should they email you first or start the application and then email you? Same thing.
Well, students using paying third party, so even if it's an employer, should be accepted first. And then once we go through the process of registration, their bill will be available. And then yes, I do recommend they stay in contact with me just so we go about the correct way on how to pay their tuition via third party.
Great.
We have another question. If we don't pay the additional fee for the academic accreditation, will we still get an official certificate?
Yeah,
So,
yes.
yes, yeah, everybody will be, if you successfully complete the IDHA, everyone will receive a diploma. However, academic credit is mostly if you're planning on enrolling to receive a master's or a PhD. Obviously, it depends on the school that you're planning on enrolling in if they will accept the credits, but the academic credit and diploma are not the same thing.
And maybe to mention as well, there are more than 4,000 people across the globe that have obtained the IDHA. And you will find them everywhere you go. You will find IDHA graduates, and that this has really helped me a lot in my career actually, and benefited me in a lot of different ways. So although it doesn't mention academic credit by itself, it does have a very high status in the humanitarian sector. Are there any further questions?
Another question says, how does one go about transitioning to the Fordham Masters in International Humanitarian Action if they are interested in continuing after this diploma?
Do you want to take this, Luciani, or shall I take it?
You can take it. I'm just looking something up real quick because I don't want to.
No, so the IDHA is not traditionally part of a master's degree, but if you are completing a master diploma or a master degree at Fordham University or any other university, you can ask the university if the IDHA credits can be used towards your master. But it's not standard part of a master degree anymore.
Yes, and also the master's degree that was mentioned right now, it's not in effect. We are planning on having it in effect hopefully for the fall. However, the one that is in effect is the Master's of Science in Humanitarian Studies. So just hopefully they will both be available for the fall, but just wanted to make
Yeah.
that clear.
So the Master in International Humanitarian Action has been given in person, and it's undergoing a reconstruction at the moment. So we're looking at how to improve it and make it better accessible for people. And if once this has all been done, then we will provide the master again. But we are not sure when this will happen.
I will also include the email of Ruth McQuana. She is our Director of Graduate Studies. So if anyone else is interested in learning more about the master's program or just connecting with somebody from the team that's directly correlated to the master's programs that we offer, she's a great contact.
Thank you, Luciane. Any other questions? Or I'm curious to know if people are interested to signing up or have already signed up from the people that are on the call now. Everyone is shy. Ah, okay. Yeah. Oh, great. Fantastic. But listen, I mean, you're always welcome to join another session. My email is also on the website. You can also plan, I think that tool, Lily, is still on the website, right? That people can plan a 30-minute call with me. If you have additional questions or if you have specific questions about your case, feel free to reach out either to me or Lily or Luciani. Any question you may have or how we can help you with signing up for the program. I would really recommend you to do it. Again, I mean, this is the I don't know how many IDHAs I've done, but the last one was again so much fun and so much learning and so inspiring to meet people in the Middle Eastern region, in a region where a lot of things are happening at the moment. And yeah, I'm sure that in Pretoria it will be another good, interesting course. Yeah, I'm reading the chat now that that it's a lot of money. I mean it is a lot of money. It's quite an investment. But considering that it is a 4-week course and you get your hotel and your meals included, um it's compared to other programs, it's not very expensive. It's a lot of money, I agree, but it's also a very long course and you get a lot in return as well. But as Luciani said, we do have scholarship opportunities. They're limited, but they are there. So I would recommend you, if you are interested, just to complete your application and apply for the scholarship opportunities. And feel free to reach out if there is in any way we can help you figure it out.
Thanks, Martine. So as we wrap up today's session, can you talk a little bit about what the day-to-day looks like, what a typical day as an IDHA student looks like?
Yeah, so I mean, I would recommend you to follow us on social media, and it's a bit of a pity you missed if you have not done so, you missed the IDHA, because we had stories from students telling what a typical day looks like. But usually we get in class in the morning around 9 o'clock. We have sessions in the morning, usually about 2 sessions. And they're either lectures or interactive sessions or workshop. As I said, we also have workshops on leadership and on management and on team building, but we also have lectures on international humanitarian law or case studies. We for instance, had Jamie McGoldrick lecturing on the course, who was the former humanitarian coordinator for Gaza. And we had Dominique Bart, who used to be the regional or the representative for UNHCR in Jordan. So we usually have 2 lectures in the morning, then we break for lunch, and we have a lunch together, and then in the afternoon we have 2 other sessions. So that is a typical day, but we also have a field trip we did last month. So we went to visit the Red Cross National Society, Red Crescent National Society, and the International Federation of the Red Cross. And we got to speak to the president of the National Red Crescent Society in Jordan, and spoke to the head of the Federation of the Red Cross in Jordan, which was very interesting. We got to see their skills training program, their hospital. So that was a day out of class, so to say. And then we have also days where we have lectures in the mornings and then student presentations in the afternoon. So it's not there is not one typical day, but there are a large variety of activities that we run through during the course.
And a little bit of time for networking as well.
For sure, a lot of time for networking.
I think we covered most of all of the questions. In the chat, there is our contact information. You have Martine's Calendly scheduler if you'd like to schedule a chat with her to learn more about the program itself. And then Luciani's email, iiha@fordham.edu for application questions. We put Ruth Mukwana's email in there if you're interested in our master degree. That is completely in person in the Bronx, New York. So with that, I think that concludes our information session for today. Be on the lookout for our next one.
Thank you, Lily, and thanks everyone for joining, and we'll hope to see you in Pretoria in May. Thank you.